Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the most intense 100 days you will ever watch. I'm going to be playing The Infected, a zombie apocalypse-based mod pack that gets harder as you play. If you would like to play it for yourself, the link is in the description. But before we start, I just want to give a huge shout out to Luke the Notable and ForgeLabs for the idea. This is not my idea, just an iteration. Without further ado, my name is Egg, and I'm going to be surviving 100 days in a hardcore infected world. Starting off on day 1, I spawned next to a pack of rogue, which is a great start, went to a nearby city, got a broken heart bauble straight off the bat, which is going to help me out a ton, and opened a pet chest to find a saddle pet. I opened more pet chests while looking for a village until I finally found one, and I saw a chest in a nearby building and went to go for it, and as soon as I did, a blood moon and a sandstorm happened. What luck! I sat at home for the rest of the night listening to awful sounds outside. Day 2. I thought I was gonna die running from the village. I ran as fast as I could, ran into mobs, got poisoned and withered by a rare anthromite, then permanently had 1 heart for the whole day. This mountain could work pretty well as a base, I think. I take it back, 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 I take it back. No. Okay, chickens are pretty good. Okay, no more chicken. I almost died to anthromites again, so I bunkered down in the side of a mountain and slept for my hearts back. Day 3, I started with gathering wood, which I should have done day 1. Then, I went exploring and found a mushroom cow pet and almost blew up. Then, I went exploring some more, found a squid pet, and then almost blew up. Later, I found a desert near my base, which will hopefully be helpful in the future. Day 4, I headed in a different direction and searched for city loot. Found a jackpot chest with 3 diamonds in it, sweet. Found a swamp in a very abandoned city, figured it was past my bedtime, so I went home. Day 5, if I wanted a village, I would need a town hall, so I mined a foundation and started construction. I used granite for the floor. I hate granite and all of the other 3 weird stones, but it looks pretty good, so... Oh yeah, and I found a pet chest right outside my base. Go figure. Day 6. Chop, 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 house go build. I was scared for a second because I planned on making granite stairs for the roof, but I found out I need granite bricks for the stairs. Interesting, but also who cares? Day 7. I was working on the roof when I figured I should imprison some animals, especially cows, because they become scarce later on. I ended the night by making multiple stacks of torches to light up the surrounding area. Day 8, I spent the whole day placing torches. I found a froggy hat, and found out ruptures deal too much damage. Day 9, finally lit most things up, moved in my valuables to the new house, and organized everything. Day 10, finished up the inside of the house, and started a mine shaft, but I heard scary noises, so I went home, realized it was night already, then went to bed. Day 11, I'm an idiot, gotta redo the torches on the stairs. Day 12, I reached Y11 and found quite a bit of different ores, perfect. Day 13, today was a great day. Found 8 diamonds, and a really cool cave with a mine shaft I'll explore later. I added a nice trim to the house as well, I might remove it later, and I got a full set of armor, finally. Day 14, I woke up and I looked out my brand new window. I figured I needed a source of water to drink in my house, so I attempted to make a fountain. Keep in mind, I can't build to save my life, so I don't really like it, but it'll have to do for now. Anyone else remember I had animals? I didn't, so I got the Segs achievement. I finished the day with some mining for a good decoration idea. Day 15, I started decorating the mine shaft. I added some rails and a coal block, a couple of boulders. I think it looks pretty good. However, that's not the focus of the day. I need to get onto a slime island. I built up to a purple one near the base and stole a bunch of slime blocks off of it. I also crafted a skill book, and I chose the archaeologist class due to mining being such a common thing I'm going to be doing, so I will gain extra XP from mining. I also went to the city buildings next to me and found 4 whole iron blocks. Day 16 started off by killing some animals. I wondered what talents did, like that the pigs dropped, and it turns out they make candles. So I prettied up my house with a new table and a chair, and put candles on the fountain to make it look like a pretty shrine. Realizing the Techtopia guide is in my inventory, I figured it was time to actually do the objective. First, I made my main house the town hall, officially. That then spawned 2 traders who will annoy me for the rest of the playthrough. Next, I started creating a villager home. I'm going for a birch and stone brick look, but the night fell and I watched the sunset through my window. Day 17, I wanted to continue working on the house, but I saw 2 things. A dark forest for that sweet, sweet dark oak, and a rare rupture that made me poop myself. While I was working on the house, I figured I would make a fresh town hall so I could get the starting gear, which was a free lumberjack and a farmer. It worked. Eventually. Oh, and I think I doubled the rate of nomads by accident. Day 18! I realized how bad my rupture problem was, so I spent the entire day placing more torches. No more ruptures! Day 19? Where's my farmer? Where are all the nomads going? I decided to follow them to see if they would lead me to my farmer, maybe, because similar AI, and they actually did. I ended the night by making the storage room and 3 iron hose. Day 20! I spent a lot of today looking for a lumberjack villager nomad, and I couldn't find one. I also made a backpack for my travel tomorrow. Rise and shine, on day 21 I went adventuring with my slime sling. I found a buried treasure map that told me to go north, so I went south. I found a desert temple with an assload of iron in it. Unfortunately, when I went home, another blood moon struck. I also began to freeze to death. I actually thought I was gonna die because I got really low on health, so I popped a golden apple, and I dug myself a hole and put fire all around me to warm me up. Day 22 was an awful day. I went to make sure my farmer was alright, and he was. However, not for long. As I went to look for the buried treasure, I saw a horrible creature near my base. My farmer, Dean Coyle, met his fate. I cried a little bit, but not as much as when I saw this statistic.
Oh, boo-hoo! Let me play a sad song for you on the world's smallest violin. This is serious.
I realized I needed firepower, a solid gun, so I started working to get a Dragonov. And then it happened. Phase 2. I woke up on day 23 with revenge in my mind. I noticed that the Dragonov was pretty inaccurate without a scope, so I crafted a ×4, and I named her the Seeker. I went over to where the beasts were and rained hell down onto them. There were a lot more than I thought. Some I've never even seen before, like a flying one that poisoned me out of nowhere. I built a guard tower where I could see everywhere around my base so that this would never happen again. Day 24, I spent the day cleaning up all the mobs around the base. I organized my belongings and had a realization that this mod pack is really, really difficult, and I'm only a quarter of the way through. Day 25, I spent emeralds to get 2 miners, and I made a new farmer and a lumberjack. I went to work on my mineshaft, and then they get killed almost immediately. Like, come on. There was this invisible infected that was super hard to even, tell where it was, so I teleported home and I slept. Day 26. I woke up angry as ever and went to my defense tower, poured lava down the side, and burned that bitch alive. I spent the rest of the day in the mines, found quite a bit of diamonds, but if I wanted a good defense, I needed gold, and lots of it. Day 27. Back to the mines because we don't mine at night. I figured I would go to that mine shaft I never explored, and Jesus, am I glad I did. I found a huge vein of emeralds and gold in here. This is what I needed. After a lot of mining, I came home to it already being night. Day 28, I smelted the ores from yesterday and went down to get some obsidian. I crafted an enchantment table pet, which gives me tier 30 enchantments without bookshelves. Now, it's time to make some turrets. I set it up near the city wall outside the base. I started work on day 29 on a factory to produce energy to make Invar that I needed for a better dynamo. I got the pulverizer, but Invar is made with nickel and iron. Nickel is extremely rare and is only found in veins of 1, so that kinda sucks. Day 30, I went to find that buried treasure to get my mind off the tragedies that has happened. But it seems to be broken, so I just kept traveling. I found a lot of pets. I got a banana pet that actually does a shit ton of damage. I found a silverfish pet that makes me walk through walls, a blaze pet which is nice for fire damage, if only I had quartz, and I found a creeper pet that negates explosion damage and lets me explode. Right when I thought things were looking up, another goddamn blood moon happened. What is my luck? So I dug to my mine shaft to get some lava and upgraded my fire hole to a lava hole for warmth. Day 31, I made a pump for a magmatic dynamo. My plan is to have a cell charger that connects to it, so I will have infinite power in the form of like a battery, and I finished that up by the end of the night. Day 32, I needed pipe sealant for fluid pipes, and I was so stupid. I went out looking for slime balls, because I needed green ones and green ones only, but I realized you can use cactus dye. But that doesn't matter because the fluid pipes didn't work anyways. Time to do research. Also, the sun pet is overpowered. Day 33. Turns out I need an engine to power it. They should really not show a green light on the pump if it's not even powered. I tried using a dynamo, it didn't work. Time to make an engine. Okay, cool, it works. It's makeshift, but I can easily put lava in the dynamo now. I let out some stress with the sun pet some more. Day 34, I wanted to figure out what was killing all of my nomads every single day, so I cleared out all of the mobs around the base. But I would have died if I wasn't for my broken heart bauble. I went into the city right next to me and used the sun pet, and some random ass mob hits me, leaving me at half of a heart. So I grabbed my juggernaut, and I head back, and spent the rest of the night mining. Day 35, I enchanted my gear today so I don't get one shot by a cow. I also got some more food because I was running low. I decided to try again with villagers. I hope they don't die. I waited for nomads, but none came on day 36. I decided now was a good time to go to the Nether. And God, I regret this decision so much. I wandered down to what I thought was an underground Nether fortress. I don't know why I thought it was that, but I did. Only to be greeted with a buff wither skeleton that got me down to broken heart level. Not only that, but the heat from the Nether was burning me alive, so I had to make an extremely risky jump to my portal and made it home with only 2 hearts. Traumatized by the past few days, I found the nomads and made some new villagers on day 37. I began working on a house for the newcomers. I finished up the house along with making some inferium seeds. I plan on making a big mystical agriculture farm, which I'm not sure if I'm gonna actually commit to doing or not, but might as well start. On day 39, I went on a very, very successful mining trip, but I saw that my miner was taking damage. I quickly went home to try to save him, but by the time I got there, it was too late. I put him out of his misery and went to bed. I woke up and crafted more seeds on day 40. When I went outside to plant them, I got the biggest jump scare of my life. A zombie pigman came through my nether portal, and so I took care of him and went on to continue my day. I needed ender pearls for actual enchanted gear. So I went out looking for ender nuggets, which was the only way I could actually get ender pearls, besides like a mutant enderman, which I was not going to fight, and I couldn't find any. I went out again on day 41. I did find some ender nuggets, but I still need 2 more. I also landed in an extremely cool no-scope and got Jeremy. I found He Gonna Be, and got the rest of the ender nuggets I needed. Day 42. Time to initiate part 2 of the getting better gear time moment thing. I needed to find a cloud, but not just any cloud, a fake cloud. Luckily, there was one semi-close to the base. I built up, and I killed a rare blaze that knocked me off and kind of scared me for a second, but now I just needed one last ingredient, more obsidian. So I collected everything, and I crafted an advanced enchantment table. The next thing I needed was a disenchantment table, so I went out to find another enchanting table in the city. Man, that was a lot of enchanting tables. Day 43. I woke up and got the necessary things to craft a disenchantment table. I took Sage's Blessing 5 off of my pickaxe and put it onto a book, and then I used the advanced table to make a pretty damn good pickaxe, and then went on a mining trip. I got jumped by an assimilated adventurer that took half of my health and scared the absolute shit out of me. God must feel bad for me, because while I was mining, I fell through a hole that put me right in front of diamonds. I came home with a bunch of loot and slept. Day 44. I buffed my pickaxe out even more, and I went mining, but not for long. My bard was starving, and we didn't have much food, so he turned into an infected. I'm sad. Due to that tragedy, I spent the whole day gathering as much food as physically possible. I stole a bunch of melons from pet chests for the villagers. Day 46, I went straight to the mines and came back with a crap ton of loot and XP. My chests were getting pretty full. That isn't a flex, it's me showing how lazy I am. Day 47, I put advanced protection on all of my armor, and advanced sharpness 5 on my sword. I'm feeling strong. I also saved this nomad from this stupid wolf. Hey, sir, what's your profession? Blacksmith? Too bad, you're a cook now. Wait, no, that was my miner! I'm mad. I ended the night by making another gun turret. Day 48. I prepared for a big milestone. I went to the Nether for wither skeleton skulls, and I almost burnt to death again, and didn't find any. I needed looting. Day 49, I got looting 3 on my sword, and spent all day and night looking for wither skeleton skulls, when finally, Boney gave me head. It was already day 50 when I returned. I knew I would have to do this now or never. If you didn't catch on, I was gonna summon the Wither. I built the cross and placed the heads on, and the fight began. I thought my gun wasn't working for a second, but it made quick work of the abomination. The Wither got real close to me, but I kept shooting, finishing him off and claiming my prize. I hung it up in my house as a little trophy. I'm not sure if I'm even going to use this Nether Star. I might. Who knows what'll happen in the next 50 days. However, for now, I am going to go to bed. Smoochies.